Welcome to Magnified Abundance, the podcast dedicated to exploring the power of a growth mindset for business professionals and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Izzy Nalley, a business growth strategist and a hypnotherapist. And I'm thrilled to be your guide on this journey of discovery, learning, and growth. Every week, I bring you inspiring, insightful interviews with successful business owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs as they share their stories of mindset shifts that have led to their success. Together, we'll explore what it takes to cultivate an abundant mindset, overcome the limiting beliefs, and achieve greater prosperity in both business and life. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired as we magnify abundance and achieve true success together. Let's get started. All right, we've got Mell B. Mell B, what do you do?
I'm a deep belief hacker. And what that means is I play in the quantum realm
Love
and
it.
I don't become an ant or a wasp, but I play in the quantum where that's for the Marvel fans. And you like, I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, I
The
totally know what you're talking about.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
You can
yes.
play with me. No. And it means I can access or help my clients, which is more correct, access the not just the beliefs. It's not just limiting beliefs. And the way I describe it is we've all seen we've all seen cobwebs and we know that they're anchored in. We have these anchor lines. And the beliefs I kind of liken to parts of the web. We can have
Okay.
this web of around a specific subject.
Mhm.
But we also need to dismantle the anchor lines. We also need to understand and maybe get rid of the spider, relocate the spider, because we can have generational imprints that we've inherited in our DNA.
Yes.
We have had our past lives, whether you're religious, whether you believe in them, is kind of not important. There are things in our subconscious that make no sense, but when you do the work, makes complete sense when you consciously have a conversation about it afterwards, go, well, that makes sense that I was a slave in a past life, or that I was in a harem. It
Yeah.
just makes sense with how it's playing out in his life. And it's like the same things in this version of society. So we have to dismantle all of the pieces, which is deep in our subconscious. So that's how I play. It's a sacred space. Very cool.
I love that. I love that because I have 3 kids, and my youngest is 1, my oldest is 14.
Wow.
And yeah, I know, right? I started over, hit the reset button, and I love it because if you're a parent, you can really see this. Because when a baby is born, they instinctively have so much personality. They instinctively have these fears, these things that they're drawn to and repelled from. And it's just wild, especially if you have a bunch of kids or even if you're a school teacher and you know all these children, right? Like they have such unique personalities, and we find ourselves more and more when we're around children to go, past lives must be a thing.
Where does personality come from? And even if you can't wrap your head around or don't believe in karma or
Yeah.
re-entry, rebirth, whatever you don't believe in the re's, to many, it can just give a framework of explanation about personality.
Yes. And so I used to work in the medical school here. And one of my students, she actually specialized in genomes being turned on and turned off.
Yes.
And it was amazing because as our mindset shifts, and of course, Harvard research studies show that we can actually alter our DNA through meditation, right?
Thank you for saying that. I've been preaching this for years. The book of the biology of belief,
Yes,
epigenetics. It's not woo woo.
it's
Sorry,
not
carry
woo
on.
woo. And so she had proved in her doctorate in medical school that by altering our minds that we can turn our gene switches on and off. Now, other ways that genes get turned on and off are by like toxins and external factors, but we have these internal factors as well. So, to say this, like we actually inherit our genes. That makes sense, right? We inherit
People
genes.
believe that. People are okay with genes and DNA. Yep, they're
Yeah.
across that one.
And our genes can affect how our body and our mind responds.
They
So,
change.
why does it make sense when we say things? And I think it's just because it's not in our norm, it's not in our vocabulary yet. I won't say yet, but perfectly exactly what you're saying. Like, we have this karmic, and people can use different words, but in this instance, we're using karmic. Okay. So, what have you found out about yourself in this process?
Oh, good question. I've never been asked that. A ton. A ton. So let's start with the nice one.
Okay.
I did a meditation. I keep looking up because I'm trying to remember facts now. It was about 5 I'm not good at remembering specifics. 5 to 10 years before I
Okay.
became a coach. And I'd been going through a ton of my own healing, energy work in many forms. And I did a meditation, and I've been doing meditation. I studied Buddhism for 4 years and always been into the spirituality of what could be.
Yes.
And I received this meditation, this piece of wisdom or a slap in the ear or whatever download it was.
Download. Yeah.
Yeah, of I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm mixing my memories up. Okay, so when I was going through some of my deep trauma healing work with about my sexual abuse, my energy healer then said, "I think you're going to be some sort of healer or coach in the future." Now, at the time, I was like, "Now that would be." So I moved here 20 years ago. So yeah, about 15 years ago, I was like, I'm too messed up. Like I'm still in it. I need no, that doesn't make any sense. And then 5 years ago, the second one in this download was I'm going to deliver a TED talk.
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
That's big.
I better get some practice in on this whole speaking thing. So that
Mhm.
catapulted me into preparing. It's like I've got this message. I'm gonna make that happen. There's this piece of wisdom that's within me. I don't know. I'm working on what that topic still is. And now I've been a public speaker for since then. Pretty much I just launched straight into it and
Mm.
went to things and things. So what have I learned about myself? We don't know yet what we're capable of doing in the world, but I do know along the way that I'm mighty resilient. And another download I got after I was, okay, what's the purpose of all of this existence of my life and some of the traumas I've been through? And the message I got was love. You're here to teach love. So consciously, I kind of examined that and went, okay, I've already started a healing journey to self love, and the forgiveness had already was well underway for my perpetrator. And it gave me the understanding that by showing we are not, by demonstrating we don't have to be a victim of what's happened to us.
Mm.
We can find and demonstrate love. So that's one beautiful thing I've learned along the way about myself is not only is everything about love, what would love do? How would love respond? Heal with love. I'm here to teach practically, strategically, how you can do that in life and business. So that's one of the beautiful things I've really learned about myself along the way. And the crazy thing is the light has just gone out. Hello, they're playing with me. That's
Well,
cool.
I love that. I myself often speak about how we can tune into the feeling, the vibration of love and abundance, and recognizing when we're in a space of fear or scarcity, because so often we're in that space of fear and scarcity and we don't recognize it.
Absolutely. So it's called a blind spot for a reason.
Hmm. Yeah. So, talking about money and this ability to scale
Mm.
our businesses and make an impact while we're doing it, but also doing that self love, that self growth, and all of that. What did you find in the beginning compared to now, the scarcity mindset that was and the abundant mindset that is now?
Oh, night and day. I hmm. Look, I grew up, my background is of poverty,
Mhm.
not broken poverty, like completely, but I grew up in a trailer park, a caravan park,
Yeah,
and we did
I've
not
lived
have
there
money.
too.
Ah,
Yeah.
hey. And it makes it really hard to understand. I still don't have financial wisdom by my now new definition. I, however, have shifted into a perspective of understanding money as a tool, money is an ingredient, it's a frequency, it's it's not this it's not this abstract, it's not like a private jet that is completely beyond reach the average person.
Yes.
Money is an amplifier of who we are and where we're at. And that's shit for people going through the understanding of that. Absolutely been there. And it's only in the last couple of years that I've really been able to understand it's a frequency. So, what shifted for me and how this might help your audience is before I met my fiance,
Mhm.
I was so seeking that connection, not in a desperate, yearny way. I was a dating coach at the time. In a my heart has so much to give, and I'm excited to find that person to share all of me with. I know I am capable of so much love. I was already on this understanding of who I am, and I had done, for the most part, my healing. And so I was excited to share that. And now when I talk about money or feel about money, or if I'm like, oh, I want to hire the next coach or do the next thing, and I don't have the money in my bank account or whatever's, money, wealth, being rich is a frequency just like love.
Mhm.
It's a thing that can come into us. We can abuse it. We can disrespect it when it is with us. It's an energy that manifests in either a human being or in ones and zeros digitally or physically money or in objects or in gifts or other things or ways that stop us needing to spend the money. So that shift for me is money is just a frequency. In fact, it's it's just a digital asset.
Yes.
It's not even real most of the time. We make it real. Just like love is real, but we make it real when we find someone to shower that upon or be with. Now, I was in love with my girlfriends. I found ways to be romantic with myself and those people I loved enough to share parts of myself with.
Mm.
So we
Mhm.
can manifest, if you want to call it that, anything if we change the perspective of how we view it, of what it is. Love is a feeling that is conjured from within. It can come from external in, but we are the ones who creates the feeling of love and we share that out. It comes outwards. Money's the same.
Yes, for sure. I think one of the biggest shifts for me was actually starting to read about money, starting to research money, and like you said, it's a relationship. And
Mm.
we have to explore that relationship. We can't just be from outside the building and get the work done that's on the inside of the building. We have to go in and we have to do that work, and that includes exploring. And that is exactly, it was recognizing money as an energy, and not that that money itself has power. I think
Mhm.
so many of us is taught that money is power. But when we're taught that at a young age, we really take it literal,
Yep.
and it takes some unraveling, some unwinding, clearing out those cobwebs and
Yes.
saying, no, that's not true. That was a perspective. Let my adult mind process that versus just believing what my child mind told me.
One of my favorite books for helping shift that was It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver.
Mhm.
I think that's the title of it, something like that. And it is understanding that, or its explanations around money is energy. It's not your money, it's universal flow.
Yes.
And getting into relationship is, if you were saying, I really would love to receive some flowers. I really want fresh flowers every day. Flowers make me so happy. Flower, 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 flowers. And then people give you flowers and you're like, oh, not those flowers.
Mm.
Or you have them and then you just let them sit and die and go moldy in the water. That's how I started to think about money. Is like, if you
Awesome.
respect it and go, oh, okay, it's a gift that isn't really what I wanted, but it's a form of money. Might not be
Mhm.
what you think you wanted, but you weren't clear. I want money. Yeah, I want flowers. What kind of flowers? How many? What? Blah, blah, blah. When we aren't respecting what we are receiving, it's disrespecting, and I kind of liken it like, say there are angels or whatever's out there. Is it
Yeah.
I want money, and they give you stuff, and they're like, "Give it to you," and you're like, "No, not that." They'd be like, "What? How ungrateful." This person over here really likes what I do for them and what conjurings and alignments and opportunities I'm gonna, not that you get and they don't, but I kind of think of it in that sense of a relationship. Would you treat a person
Mm.
who's trying to give you what you're not clear on? I want more. Here's a dollar.
Yeah. I just had this visualization of like me typing into Chat GBT, kind of like asking it for something, and it gives me, and
Right.
I could get mad about it, or I could say, "Oh, this is amazing. Let me get more specific next
Yes.
time." And then I get even closer to what I want, creating stuff out of thin air. It's amazing.
I done a workshop on Chat GPT for that very reason. Like, I want to ease my life.
I
It's
just did one
amazing, but
last week. It's
yeah.
amazing. It's made
You
my
put
life
crap in,
so
you
much
get crap
easier.
out. Stop complaining about it, people. Learn how to do it properly.
Right? It's the same thing as manifesting, wishing, praying. When we wish, we pray, we need that clarity. And if we don't get what we want, we be grateful for it. And then we recognize that we need to get more and more specific. When I was in the process of transforming my life right after a divorce, and I recognized I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. So I made
Mm,
it my mission to say, okay, universe, help me see what a healthy relationship looks like. And I started collecting all these beautiful ideas and concepts. And it's the same with money and with creating an abundant life, with creating a rich life, if that's what you're craving as well. We're really wanting safety and security, and we have to perform the self-care and the self-knowing, and knowing thyself is the first step.
totally agree. I love that. Can I borrow that Chat GPT? Request for money.
Yes.
I love it.
So I'm working on a book, and my first thought when I sit down for this book on money is I'm going to type into the internet how to make money into Google. And it's amazing how many gimmicks and just crap there is out there.
Yep.
Money is a tool, but money is the biggest sign of scarcity because we have such misconstrued representations of what money is. Money is not
And we
real.
want it, the human condition, and this isn't about people who are struggling in any way. The human condition is about efficiency.
Yes.
Always trying to do things the easiest, fastest, quickest way.
Yes.
So when we come across money, sales lines that have make more money in 30 days, our brain goes, oh, there's the quick answer. That's the problem. It's a strategy, it's a tactic. It's why people win the lottery, but lose it all within a few years. They burn through it because they haven't
Mhm.
learned what that frequency is and they're not in alignment with it.
Yes. With
And it,
wealth. I find that a lot with multi-passionate entrepreneurs. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, but there are blocks that tend to come up a lot because there's a lot of like not feeling worthy. So a lot of multi-passionates will go in certification and certification and certification because they don't feel like they know enough. Now, that also makes them extremely brilliant. Like coaches that are multi-passionate are actually brilliant because they have
mm,
so much wisdom in all these different areas. But it can be really challenging as a multi-passionate to make money because they can't choose one avenue to be super specific on.
and so I agree. And one of the causes I have come across, so this is an opinion, this is
Sure. Yeah.
experience,
Hmm.
they reach that ceiling of discomfort, of worthiness, or whatever the ceiling is about. And rather than face that storm, okay, try and keep me on track here. One of my analogies is sailing. Like I got my little sailboat over there.
Yeah.
One of our discomforts is, rather than face a storm, whatever kind of conflict or struggle or just uncomfortable sensation, we will go around it. Now, the problem with going around it is a couple of things. One, it takes longer.
Hmm.
Two, it can still catch up with you. If it's a storm, you can't outrun storms in a boat. I can tell you that, experience that. And three, it can actually capsize you. And I'm pretty sure those capsizes are when our lives just fall apart. We knew we were trying to outrun something. Instead of going, okay, here's some stuff, whatever that is, I'm just going to sail straight through it and I'll get through the other side because it's going, it's
Hmm.
faster. Go through it. And that is where I was hoping to keep on track. I bring that up because facing our discomfort of our next ceiling or the next level or whatever language you want to use, I'll go and study this thing over here, or shiny project syndrome. I will go and do this and avoid the discomfort of
Um,
getting that, which is my breakthrough. That's why they call it glass ceiling,
mm.
breakthrough.
But Mel, that storm is so scary. Why would we want to
Oh,
go through it?
I don't know about you, but cows do it. I heard somebody talk about it. Cows try and out they no, oh God, I can't remember. Do they try and outrun it or they know to go straight through it? I can't remember. Something about cows doing that.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah.
That's a go look it up thing. I
Mm.
love that. Yeah, well, and I used to use this analogy too, but I love yours because that is so how our mindset approaches it. I would always approach it in we ask the universe or God for something, and a challenge is placed in front of us for us to gain the skills or wisdom, and we avoid it. And we keep asking and we keep asking, and it can happen a couple different ways. Either chaos can come in and remove all the obstacles for you, and you're like, my life's a mess. What happened? I've just lost everything. And it's like, well, you wouldn't get rid of it. You wouldn't clear the way. So I had to clear the way for you.
I was helping you. And now you're still complaining.
Yeah. So we really have to like step back from these situations and approach fear, approach discomfort. I think that's one of the biggest things for people that are on accelerated paths is that they stop, they see an obstacle and they go, ooh, let me explore this with curiosity and see what lessons are here.
And critical thinking of validating the fear. Is that really
Mm,
what my protective ego mind is making it out to be? So that's the first part. If you want steps, folks, here they are. Analyze and with curiosity, critically examine the fear. How justified is that fear? Second, how can I break this down into manageable pieces or chunks or parts or whatever? Break it down. Oh, I want to write a book, but it's too big a project. That's because you're thinking about the end result of the book in its printed form. What if I decided, I don't know what all the chapters are going to be, but this one is just buzzing around my head and it's calling to be written. That's why I feel I need to write a book. Just start there.
yep.
But when we try and look at the whole of anything or the end result of something, oh, I don't want to have that difficult conflicting conversation because you're already drama in your head, playing the movie in your head of what
Mm,
might be the outcome, which is your discomfort. Instead of the longer you leave that mentality, the worse it's going to get. And go, okay, this is uncomfortable. I'm just going to be human and be real about whatever it is that this conflict's about and get through it quicker. So the
yes.
steps are review it, break it down, take the action.
Right? And like so many of us have heard these quotes, such as like, change is on the other side of your discomfort. We know these quotes and we know them consciously. We know that to write the book, we have to make time every day. We're not just going to find time magically. Like, we have to make the time to do
Oh,
it. Same
hold on.
thing,
The fairies aren't just going to have the pages written for me overnight.
right? I can't just sit and like meditate and like see my book and then it's just done, right? Like, I can't just wish it into existence.
You
No,
can
like,
wish someone to come into your life to write it with you.
yes.
Yes, you can give me a solution that I haven't thought of yet. And then you've got to be open to seeing the possibility that's different from what you thought the path was.
Yes. We have to hold on to that tangible outcome that we really, really want and not be so attached to it has to be this way,
Mm,
but to think like I want to make a change in this world by helping female entrepreneurs change their relationship with money and be able to easily make money to change their lives. If I have something that loose but that driven, that clarity of purpose, then I can just share that message and wait for people to show up and help me carry out that mission.
mm.
Same thing with a book, right? If I know I want to write a book on this topic and this is the outcome that I want my readers to come away with, then I just need to make the time to allow that to happen.
And here's an example of real recent example for me. Last week, so I've really shifted into partnerships. A bunch of reasons why I want to have more partnerships. And one is it's more fun working with someone.
Yes.
I'm a collaborator by heart. But the other part is I can do tactics, but I love the heart part of it. So I want to partner with tacticians, strategists, experts who have the things, the tangibles. And I want to blend my intangible inner work so that they get the amplification. It
Yes.
benefits the clients and it benefits the other expert coach, whatever they are. And so in the last couple of weeks, I've been going to bed thinking, okay, I'm open to partnerships. This is what the intention. I want to have A, B, and C, which are a bit like you just described, loose, bigger purpose, serving more people that can then create opportunities for those who cannot hire coaches. So there's a
Mm.
bigger reason behind it all. So I'm open to that, please. And then last week at I go to a monthly mastermind, and at that networking, there was a new guest there, and we're like, oh, we're going to do a partnership.
Love
Thanks.
it.
how easy was that? Just a couple of nights falling asleep with the intention I'm open to partnerships, bringing the right people for me. And when you're in that place of trust and knowing, when that person shows up, you know it's a good fit. You know you can trust because you've done the inner work and they're in alignment. You can trust your instincts. Sometimes the universe does like to test us. And if we don't pay attention to the flags, like you ask for partnerships now, I'm putting in like the chat GPT that's in the greatest good for all.
Yes.
But that can still be my greatest good is to learn a really shit lesson for my greatest good. So you got to be careful sometimes and have that perspective of going, I want ease and flow. That's my cheat phrase with ease and flow.
Yes. Well, everything we have today is either what we asked for or what we didn't ask for.
On the way to getting what we asked for. Yes.
Yes. And I love that. And, I think when I first started in the online business world, you would hear the people that are all about mindset. And they're just like, it's just mindset, it's just mindset. And then you hear the people that are like, screw mindset, it's just tactics. Like, if you've got the right tactics, and it's never just one thing. It is never just one thing. Saying it's this or that is scarcity mindset.
It's it's old NLP fear mongering. I've got a bit of a bugbear. I love all you NLP. Well, I love some of you NLP practitioners, but there's a lot, and this is where the nasty car salesman started was with NLP back in the 60s, and they worked out that they can say things that create scarcity to buy things that we don't actually want. Now, the
Yeah.
beautiful NLPers out there are helping people find their truth. So
That is marketing. It's marketing. Every marketing training will tell you to create some scarcity. And there's better ways to create scarcity.
there's pleasant, authentic ways,
Yes.
yes.
It's like, I have this training, it's available for 3 days. Like, you have to purchase it in the next 3 days. That is okay scarcity. But saying
And that's
you
because the
won't.
reason behind it is we want you to do this thing that is of benefit to you, not I don't give a shit what you do with this product or course. I just want to make money from you. That's
Yes.
the difference.
The energy behind it, the intention shines through, right? I'm like, someone can give you a gift and person A can give it to you with the intent of thinking you owe me. And the other one is saying, oh, this is just for you because you're so great. They don't have to say anything. You will feel it. Now, the perception of the receiver can also be skewed. That's a whole
Sure.
nother factor. But we can feel people's intentions. There was a research study shown on women being able to feel people looking at them through a
Mm,
window that they couldn't see. And it was like
yes.
90% of women could tell if there was one person, two people, three people staring at them and they couldn't see anything. Like,
I
we get that.
Yeah. Yeah. It slight deviation. When I was back in the dating realm, as in being a dating coach, I had this phrase, what's the difference between a stalker and romance?
Mm.
Your own intention about the person. Do you
Yeah.
like them or not?
Right? And it changes if you're with someone for a while and suddenly you change how you view them, they can be doing the exact same thing that they've always been doing, and suddenly you just see it in a different light.
Mhm.
Yes. So it is both. It is both the yin and the yang, the feminine, the masculine, the mindset, the tactics. We need both of those. As you are working with individuals, and let's use money mindset because everything's a relationship, as we've said. What is the biggest money mindset block that you see come up?
That they're aware of or that is the diagnosis? Because it's two completely different things.
Oh, so true. Let's do both. Let's start with what they're aware of.
Okay, so when client, I include money in all of my work with someone. They come to me with relationships. Let's do some money work while we're in there. The the biggest thing is that we use language like scarcity, fear, lack. The language people who may not be in the coaching space yet might use is don't have enough. I'm struggling to pay bills. I'm going for this promotion. I can't seem to find the right job, or I'm not getting the interviews, or I'm I've got to be careful what I say and don't trigger people. But there's something missing and they want more. That's how it shows up. Their language is around, I want A and I only have Z.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it just can't. It just isn't working.
Yes,
Can't do
yes.
it.
Or the other language could be, when I'm something, I'll be
Mm,
able to. So that's the kind of place they're at. So I'm one of my superpowers is asking powerful questions.
love it.
Part of that's training, but part of that's just I'm an empath.
Goodness.
I'm
Yeah.
intuitive, and so I can ask questions, and they're like, I don't even know how to answer that. It's like, yeah, but that's the question we need to answer. And so the biggest block to answer your question is often self worth.
Mm,
And we can clear the blocks to that. Again, as I touched on, we don't know our blind spots because it's there to keep us safe. So our ego's job is to keep us alive. Unfortunately, we don't have the same threats. And so it perceives any emotions that are uncomfortable as a threat now. It's just like a kind of hyperactive bored security guard. Like, oh, is that a threat? Oh. No, calm the farm. It's just me having an argument. And so if we look at ego as trying to protect us from something that it thinks is a problem,
mhm.
it puts up all sorts of smoke and mirrors and
Yeah.
distractions and avoidance and blah blah blah. If we can address those, you get to your next level. Now, millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, they all still have next level blocks. How do I know that? Because I've worked with millionaires. They're striving for their next block and they have to clear them too.
Oh, I still have blocks. They show up every day, every other day.
Yeah, it's a constant evolution of what else. I don't like the term comfort zone. Step outside your comfort zone. You cannot do that. That literally feels dangerous. You're going to step off
It
a cliff.
does. It's
So
fear alarms going off.
yeah, this is here. They go, don't step there. You're gonna die. So what I like to do is change the whole phrasing around that and say, well, let's expand your comfort zone.
Love that.
You have a bigger field to play in.
Mm,
Let's change the defense barriers from a brick wall to maybe a see-through bubble.
yeah.
Possible. And then maybe an invisible shield. I'm just such a Marvel girl. Rwanda? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where there's this force field and you don't even know it's there. You can travel through it and some things can come through. I love using that analogy with my clients. Like, let's set up your beautiful force field. Love can come through. All the
Mm.
frequencies above love can come through. Nothing else.
I love that. And that definitely correlates with something I hear clients say a lot. And when they're healing their female, their woman wounds, being able to take up space. So often we don't let our boundaries, our bubble expand because we're scared to take up space, like we're going to invade on someone else's space. But really, it just means that we can hold more good.
And a really good way, I mean, you've got your personal human 3D space, and then you've got your energetic space. So this is when I used to be a Latin dancer. And
Me too. Like we have so much in common.
oh my Lord. And so initially when we would couple dance, partner dance, you kind of like would hold your partner here and there'd be this void in the middle. Just holding someone, that's the
Intimate.
first step. And then you come into
Hmm.
the next. And then by the end, you're doing bachata and zouk, and you're like chest to chest, and you're hot and sweaty together. And you're like, nice dance, thanks, see ya. That space, that comfort is a really practical indicator of what your comfort zone is and where your Yes, there's safety awareness. I prefaced this with there's human safe and then there's energetic. But
Yes.
if you're comfortable with people being in your energy field, it's a really good indicator for me. Huggers are
Mm,
another. Oh, you're okay with things coming into your. You're probably a manifester when you're a hugger.
yes.
Very generic, generalized. Please don't hate on me, troll
No,
me, but
no,
that
no.
kind of
We're
it's
not those type of people.
it's an indicator of where your energy field could be.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So, let me ask you. This is something that shows up for me a lot, and I'm still really working on this as well. And maybe I'll get with you after this and see what work we can do. The constant busyness. I constantly have to work on myself and reevaluate how much busyness I'm allowing to happen or how much overload I'm allowing myself to happen. And I always reach new capacities. And then I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
excellent. Good job, girl. High five.
right? Like it's amazing how much stuff I can do in one day. And it's a badge of honor for a lot of us. And especially if you come from a corporate background or, you're a people pleaser, high achiever mentality, it's very, very common. And I constantly preach this because I know personally the side effects of it. But what would you tell people like that and people like me? And you can be hard. It's okay.
Oh,
You-
I was gonna go,
Tough love's
okay.
fine.
You could just see me going, okay, how do I deliver this with love? And a really nice way of considering this to help shift instead of like is and I just worked on I've got a client I've been working with for quite a while now, and we just what's next? What's next? It's not like any massive problem. Anywho. And this busyness and time is coming up a lot at the moment. It's the old paradigm of hustle. We're kind of breaking
Yes.
the old 9 to 5 doctrine. And what happened was since we did, I think it was literally a week or 10 days ago, she's like, I'm sick of constantly push, 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 fast, 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 da, 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 achievement. And a lot of it's on non-income generating or stuff that doesn't juice her up, or it's
Yes.
I haven't systemized this. Why am I doing the same thing for this event as I did last month? And I'm like, honey, it's as you just said, it's a badge of honor of how busy we are. And I get it. It's in a doctrine. But when we cleared that, two clients that were a little bit high maintenance, just gently sacked her. And in the same day, two new leads came in.
Love that.
What I helped her in her session to do was understand space. We all have opportunities, and what we choose to fill them with, if we fill them with, I'm worthy, I got up early today. I am going to have a nap at some point during the day because I know by taking that half hour, 45 minutes out, I will be recharged. I will be more clear of thoughts and more purpose aligned and therefore more productive by not pushing through. Now, that's taken me a while to get out of my own corporate. I'm an ex EA who would not leave until my boss had left. I'd be in before my boss. I had to have the zero inbox. It took me a while to break a lot of those things and feeling guilty if I did anything personal on a Monday to Friday. It makes so much more sense to do things Monday to Friday than on the weekend when everyone else is trying to do it at the same time. It's just way
Yes.
more efficient. So making space
Mhm.
for flow, for opportunities, for efficiencies. When we catch that we're trying to do it, why are you as an individual using checklists, outputs as your measure of success?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
and one thing I've included more is, like you were mentioning, the pause. the
Yes.
space and allowing myself to go, okay, I finished this task. I'm going to take a moment just to
Mm.
breathe. I might lay and roll out on my foam roller or go
Mm.
upstairs, go outside. Those things I find really help create balance for me because just pushing one after the next, I feel my breath getting shallow. I feel myself suddenly going into avoidance and distraction, and I become less productive.
Yeah, the client I was referring to, she said, I haven't got enough time, but I certainly made enough time to be scrolling on Facebook and commenting in groups and doing
Right?
all that. So I've been there for an hour and a half. It's like, oh, but you haven't got enough time in a day. And she, I know, it's your subconscious, sweetheart. The first step is awareness, and that's okay. And I just want to bring up that balance piece.
Mhm.
People have this, and maybe I don't even know actually. I'm not even going to assume where it came
Well,
from,
there's
but
so many perceptions of balanced life.
oh, yeah, and it's like, so if I do 3 hours work, I have to take 3 hours off. No, no, no. We're not talking about equal for equal. And I think somewhere along the way, that's what people think balance is. It's like true equality of the things. But as you said, I love to spend 45 minutes, an hour, and I'm really, really focused. And then I'll take 5 minutes, I'll make a cup of tea because I'm British. I'll take a tea and I'll walk around the garden. I can't believe I'm saying that. When I was in my 20s and 30s, the garden was like for old people, but I love my garden now. And I'll talk to the plants. I'm one of those that in fact, I was doing it yesterday from my fiance, and he just stood there and he's just like, you're kind of cute in your weirdness. I'm like, I know. And I just take a moment to shift my head. And I tell you, every time I step away when I'm kind of like, okay, let's say I've written a newsletter.
Mm.
I want to add one more thing. And I'm just looking there and going, what else? I'm trying to make it happen. Shallow breathing. Here's the indication I'm frustrated. Go for a quick walk. Go check the mailbox. Just step away for a minute or two. Come
Mm.
back and like, oh, that's what I should do. Boom.
Yes.
And
I
you
will
get the little break. Win-win.
a break, a breather, but making sure, right? Because I also do this too, where it suddenly becomes an avoidance, where it's like, oh, but a little bit longer, but oh, I don't want to go back.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's where I think that word balance really comes in is recognizing what is needed to balance it out and making sure that you're not diving into procrastination again.
And that's the mindset awareness. What am I
Yeah.
avoiding? What success am I afraid of?
Yes. And recognizing it. And just a quick tip that, shallow breathing is one of the biggest indicators. Your breath, your energy. Your energy is determined by your breath, and checking in with your breath constantly is a great way to know whether you're in fear or if you're in love, if you're in scarcity or if you're in abundance. So
Yeah, I had to train my fiance that my deep breath was nothing to do with him. He's like, are you okay? You keep doing it. It's like, no, 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 that's just me clearing. That's just me.
clearing
Reset.
and
I
cleansing.
do it
Yes.
without even realizing now.
So if you were to give a new business owner who is just in chaos because they don't know where to start, they don't know what to do, maybe they have their first client, maybe they don't. What is the biggest piece of advice that you would give them?
Mhm. Other than what I've said so far, I would add in, I'm hung up on the word you said chaos. Because my keynote title is Chaos to Calm. So I'm kind of
Love
anchored in it.
it.
And I need to let that go a little bit because it's not about that. Mindset is important. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm a mindset mentor. But actually, if I were starting again, okay, here we go, would be pick one tactic that juices you up, that excites you to be mastered of. And people, you got to be on all the channels. You got to do this. You got to just pick one tactic and learn it because all of the strategies work. None of them are dead. Email marketing is not dead. Launches aren't dead. 5-day challenges are not. None of the tactics are dead. That
Those are
is
all fear
NLP
tactics.
tactic. It's a tactic to
It
get
is.
you to try their tactic. Okay, so none of them are dead. Go all in on one and find the specific coaches or specialists of
Mm,
that tactic. So if you like want to create YouTube videos, which most people don't want to do it, find the people who teach YouTube mastery. Become a master of one tactic, work out your mindset blocks of that tactic next level before you move on to the next one.
love
Failing
that.
fast is also a problem language because you think, oh, that didn't work once. No, 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 no. Have you given it all the variables? Now, if it were me to pick a tactic, work on your messaging,
Hmm.
messaging specialists. That's the thing that
Agreed.
turned it around for me.
Agreed. Once you get your message clear, everything else becomes so much easier.
It
You
doesn't
can
matter
try,
what.
you can try all the tactics, but if your message isn't clear, if you're not clear about what you're delivering, what your product is, what your services are, whatever it might be, everything else is just going to be a waste of time.
Yeah, it is. And that is exactly it. It's a waste of time. And that's what it took me 5 years to work out.
Mm,
Mhm. So that would be my advice. And if you want free messaging, Brandon Lasaro, and I'll give you the link
yes.
to put in your notes. He is amazing. He's heart centered. He gets this stuff. Now, this no tactic is easy to do it right, but
Yeah.
if you want a successful, sustainable business, you want to be able to do it correctly. And I think he's a fantastic place to start. And he's got so much content that's for free that you'll definitely get started in the right path.
Love that. Love that. And just
Welcome,
know that
Brandon.
we're always refining. Always. We're always evolving. So just because you picked something and you go with it, know that it will continue to evolve. Love it. All right. Well, thank you, Mel, so much for joining us today on this talk. How can people get in contact with you if they want to work with you?
So, my favorite thing is empathy because part of our gifts are uniquely what makes us us. And when we understand our gifts, it's easier to understand some of our blocks. Whole thing. We didn't even talk about empathy today. So if you go to my website, Mell with two L's, MELLB, so that's all one word.com. Could not make
Perfect.
it any shorter and easier. Mellb.com. And if you go to /resources on there, there's a bunch of free stuff, particularly around the empathy. There's an assessment so you can understand what kind of empath, what your traits are, and a bit of that mindset awareness piece of what's holding you back. Maybe you are a people pleaser and your senses are being overloaded, so you're avoiding certain circumstances so that intuitively you become a better decision maker in business and life. So resources is
So
probably best.
important.
And in there you can get my socials and everything else is on my website.
That's so important. No matter how hard we go into tactics, we can go get so lost on that side that we neglect our spiritual selves and everything can feel really dry. So make it
Mm,
juicy
love that.
and enjoy life because we can't forget to live in the process of working and doing what we love to do, which is grow our businesses and help more people, but we still have to honor ourselves as well.
We
Mm.
are our businesses.
We are I teach that we have to create some separation so that we also have
Yes.
our life, but to make sure that we are pouring energy into our businesses and our we want to make sure that our business isn't sucking energy from us.
Especially if you're the personal brand or the face of or client service. People
Mm.
do business. We are the business. We're not the identity of the business, as you say. They are separate. But people do business with business, especially if you're a coach or
Yes.
healer. They need to see you and you have to be authentic because we can tell when you're not being.
Yeah. And I don't want to show up to work tired and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to do this. Okay, let's chat. Right. Like,
The
that's not going to be helpful.
amount of coaches I've come or healers I've come across who quit because they didn't know how to manage their energy levels because they were empaths and didn't know how to protect and took on their clients' energy.
Mhm.
That's not serving humanity at its highest level or yourself.
It's not.
Anyway,
It is not. All right. So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to make sure that we are nourished. And of course, we know this. Most of us know this, but there's a big difference between knowing something and doing something. So I'm
right.
Izzy Nalley, and today we had Mell B. And you can contact Mel by going to her website at mellb.com. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Magnified Abundance. We hope that you found inspiration and valuable insights from our guests' journeys towards success and their mindset shifts. Remember, cultivating an abundant mindset is a continuous journey. So apply the lessons that you've learned here today in your own life and business and embrace the power of growth and abundance. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Magnified Abundance on your favorite podcast platform so that you'll never miss an empowering conversation. And don't forget to leave us a review, share the podcast with a fellow professional, entrepreneur, or someone who you think can benefit from magnifying their abundance. And then stay connected with us on social media, where we share additional resources, quotes, and updates to keep you motivated on your path to success. You can find us on Instagram at Magnified Abundance. Thank you. Thank you once again for listening to Magnified Abundance. And remember, when you embrace an abundant mindset, possibilities become limitless. Keep magnifying your abundance and watch your success soar. Until next time, stay motivated, stay focused, stay abundant.